Well, hello there, good people. Welcome back to Chronicles of Power after that long. Wait, actually, did we just have the break? Yes, we're back from a break, right? Yes. Welcome back to Chronicles of Power, a podcast dedicated to the world of power where I review and break down the latest episode in the Powerverse. My name is Keemie, and I'll be your host today as we break down episode 408, titled hang on, guys. It's called Street Struck, written by Sasha Penn and directed by Lionel Coleman. Now, Sasha is going to be writing. He wrote this episode, the next episode, and did he do 10 too? And he did 10. So get ready. Alrighty. So there's going to be some storytelling being told in the next 3 episodes. Today we have a very special guest in the building who has decided to grace me with his presence again for the season. And I am super happy about it because there's no one that I love talking about power with besides Mr. Sam from Power is Fire.
What's
Welcome,
up?
Sam.
What's going on?
Nothing much. A lot of stuff is going on. So yesterday was a good day, right? Because the next one, they made it out of the first round and Power came back. And you know what's so funny in last night's episode? They actually Marvin made a remark about that. He's like, the Knicks are doing good. When the Knicks are good, we good. So yes, shout out to Jalen Brunson. But before we get into the episode, I do want to say if you guys could please do me a favor and please make sure that you like and subscribe. Please don't mind my cats in the background. Like, subscribe, and make sure you follow the podcast wherever you get podcasts. So if you are looking at this or watching us on YouTube, make sure that you're subscribing, you're commenting, and you're following. Also, if you are listening to us on Amazon, Spotify, Apple, whichever venue that you use or avenue that you use to listen to us via the audio version, please make sure that you follow the podcast and tell a friend to tell a friend so that this way, we get more traction. We can get more guests. We get other things happening. It really works in everybody's favor, right? Like Sam? I feel like you give me a little, I give you a little, and every just unison, right? We just work it. All righty. So we're gonna get right into this episode because a lot of things happen, and I'm not here to gloat today, but I will say I told y'all, I laid it out for y'all, but it's okay. We're gonna get to that later because Sam is being very patient right now, and he knows that I'm about to ask him. What are 3 things that you liked about this episode, Sam?
I'll give the same answer I gave last time. Crystal was in this episode.
Oh yes. She's my boo and she doesn't even know it.
So that's always number one.
Okay.
Number two, I would say I feel like it was good development for jukebox character. Like I like the scene, where she pulled out the blicky. I'm like, all right, okay, I see where you're going with that. Uh, because that could have been bad if she wasn't strapped.
Oh no, I know she was strapped. Always
Yeah.
strapped. When I hit I knew she was gonna be strapped. Marvin didn't give her that gun for no reason now. Come on.
Right. And then obviously we finally found out who was responsible for calling the hit on things, which he was right.
I be trying to tell y'all every week. I know what I'm talking about here. And I know, you know how other people, I'm about to blow up everybody's spot. You know how other people, they get the episodes in advance?
Mhm.
You know who doesn't get the episodes in advance? This one. I don't get screeners. I don't get anything. Nothing. I,
Yeah, that's always good though.
say it again.
That's always good.
I mean, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it, but I mean, getting screeners, it would help. It would help with when I have guests on the show. I'm able to prepare questions in advance. I don't only have to ask them things, up until the episode that everyone else has seen because sometimes when I have guests, I have to go through editing and things like that. But I won't get too technical with it, but I mean, screeners would help. But I don't mind going into it blind because this way I feel like I get a better reaction, or maybe I give better reactions because I don't know what's coming. Before, I never used to give predictions because I used to get screeners. So I didn't give predictions because I knew what was happening. And I hated the creators who used to see the episodes and then they would give predictions. I'm like, you saw it. That you can't give a prediction if you saw the damn episode. That's whack.
Or write the script.
Right. And some people don't know that. So they just think that, oh, this person has all the exclusive content. They don't have exclusive content. I mean, they do in a sense, but it's just that, they saw the episode. But anyway, those 3 things that you said that you liked about the episode, I agree.
It's definitely more, but
that's just off the top. There's definitely more, but let's see what happened in this episode.
My bad. Forget my whole list. First off, a lot of bodies dropped. I love that when that happened.
Wait, I was getting up to that. So hold on. Because I thought that's what you were going to say initially, but we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. And Marvin is on a rampage in this episode.
Oh my gosh.
But so Rock goes on the offensive, as does Marvin and as does Lou. They attempt to contain the escalating situations, and they each have their own escalating situation. Box, she joins the search for OC. Poor OC. While Kanan looks into his theory on what happened to Famous. So, who do you want to start with first? Shall we start with
OC?
OC? Yeah, we can start with OC. Alrighty, so OC is he knows that the chickens have come home to roost for him, and he is nervous. And he goes to Unique, of all people, who is not wrapped too tight right now, and is telling him that he needs to get out of town. And he has a friend in Florida, or was it a cousin, somebody in Florida, that he could go to get out of town because Kanan started putting the pieces together. Now, I'm guessing he already knows that Kanan is out there looking for him because, one, the Harry Potter trunk that he left in the middle of a warehouse with a sheet on top of it, empty. And now he's coming back to Unique like, hey, I got to get out of here. I got to get Ghost. I got to go. And Unique was like, you need to go? Do you need to go? And then he goes, oh, I got you. And then he makes him go.
Yo, I wasn't stunned because I knew that was what it was building up to.
I was like,
but it was just Unique. Yeah, OC's an idiot. If you knew where Kanan's stash was and you got all that cash from him, bro, just take the money and go to Florida yourself.
So here is my confusion. No, okay, so maybe this is something that I'm confused about, and maybe you can help me out with this. I said the same thing. You have all of the money. Did he just hand it over to Unique, or that's what he did? He just gave the money to Unique?
No, I don't know if he just handed it over or what, but all I know is he found out where it was at. He ended up driving off, so he could have just said, "Yo, go here and get this." But my thing is, I was a little confused because the lock wasn't broke off. The lock was just like unlocked. So I'm like, well, who would have had access to the key other than possibly Crystal? You know what I mean? But because that was a theory too, that Crystal was in on it. But you know what I mean? Because I'm like how would OC get the key to his safe or to his like lockbox storage?
Wait, so it wasn't broken?
No, it was just hanging on, like, it was on the hook still.
Maybe they clipped it?
Maybe so, but
I don't really know what happened with that, because if OC is the one that stole the money, or maybe this is something that they're going to explore in the next episode, but I thought that we were going to tie that up right now, considering that he's dead. But I guess I'm a little confused, and guys, please don't call me slow, but what did he do with the money? I don't understand why he needed to come back to Unique at all if he was the one that stole it. I thought he was just going to be out of town if he was the one that took all of that cash out of the trunk. And
he must not have. He must not have. He must have just told Unique, hey, this is where it's at. Like, but then, Unique would have had to go and find what locker all that was in. You know what I mean? I mean, he got a bunch of people working with him, but they all came up in there with with lock cutters, and went into every single unit. No, like it didn't show that. So it only showed that one being open, and that's it. So I was just like, okay. But if OC knew where it was at and he found a way to get in, he could have just took the money, went to Florida and bounced and just dipped, and OC would have just been missing.
Well, I'm gonna stick with because at least this is the way how they're alluding to it. I think that he owes some sort of debt to Unique, and he told Unique about the stash spot or the hiding spot. I don't know how he knew which storage room it was in within that entire facility, but it's
But like
power.
we showed
So
him like peeking around the corner when Kanan went in, but they didn't show that. They only showed him in the car.
or the car, right? So this is where you have to like be. You gotta give like a little, I guess, leeway for power. Like, okay, it's power, so I guess he just magically figured out like a leprechaun where the damn gold was, and then went in, stole it, and then gave it to Unique, and now he's asking Unique to give him a cut of it. Why didn't he just take some off the top? But we'll just leave that part alone. Maybe they'll explain what happened with that. Speaking of
Or
Unique,
OC could have just literally went back to Kanan.
I don't get that. I don't understand this part of the story. Maybe if we have Sasha Penn on again, maybe we can ask him what is happening there, because unless I'm just not putting two and two together, I don't I don't get it. But speaking of Unique, let's talk about Unique.
Yep.
Oh, buddy, old pal.
That fit was crazy.
Oh my God.
The leather jacket with the gold. I said, "Oh my
The
God,
buckles, yes.
he's going crazy."
Last week, let me tell you about that fur that Unique wore, because I feel like I didn't really get to talk about this fur in all of its glory. When he got out of the car, his shoulders were broadened and he came out, and then the wind was blowing and the fur was like, in the wind. But he looked beautiful when he got out that car with that fur and the leather jacket this week with the buckles. We had to give a shout out to the Raising Kanan costume department, Sige White and Christina Caruso, and all of the people that work there, because they are doing it.
This season is like next level with the fits. Like I mean, from OC to Crystal to Rock, obviously has been killing it. Marvin fit was crazy where he had the white shirt tucked in. I was like, not with the chain. I said, damn. Like they going like full blown, like
Chef kiss.
they really 90s drug dealers for real.
Yes. Okay, so back to Unique though.
Yep.
Let me reel us back in. Okay, so back to Unique. Unique has a lot going on right now, and Detective Garcia said something that I thought all of us was thinking, was like, you should have stayed dead, because right now they are trying to pin him for his brother's murder and Howard's murder. Ain't that something?
Yeah, but they don't have no evidence on that. That's just speculation. He said he gonna say anything to anybody.
When the cops ever needed evidence to lock up a black man? Tell me.
They don't, but at the same time, like the police has went in and discovered, obviously that his blood was everywhere in the shop, so they have no reason to suspect that it's Unique because they think Unique is dead.
Again,
so now that we know that Unique is not, I guess maybe it kind of makes sense, but then how do you tie that to Howard?
When Unique and Howard have never had any run-in at all, and they
to an extent because he was blamed for the murder. Or
for the shooting him the first time, right?
Right, but he was clear of that. So
shoot, I forgot about that.
right, he was clear of that, so they had no reason to think that he would then retaliate and then actually go kill him. That makes no sense if he's not cleared on it.
Which leads me to ask them, what the heck made Garcia come to him? Because like he was already cleared for the first attempt on Howard's life. They found they had footage from a McDonald's drive-thru, I believe, right? I think that was what they used to save Unique that time. And now this time Unique was at the scene.
He was, but it's also speculation because who told the police that Unique was there? because whoever told the police that Unique was there had to also tell the police that Kanan was there, Rock was there, and Marvin was there. You know what I mean? Why would the Unique be the only one that they mentioned that was there?
All right. Speaking of other trouble that Unique is in.
Wow, I already beat the
Oh,
clown.
oh, man. Marvin went and killed Wong. Marvin killed
Wow.
everybody in this episode.
Well, I don't know if so. It's hard for me to pinpoint. I know he killed the two that was sitting in the on the sofa. And he killed Quan. I don't know if he killed the dude that was on the floor already because it was other people with Marvin.
Okay, well, we'll just say that he was responsible for it because he led the attack.
Okay, never mind. And so that's 22 kills for Marvin. He is now number 2 in the Power Universe for kills
But killed after Tommy.
after Tommy. Yes.
For Tommy.
Yeah, he just surpassed Kanan at this point.
Look at that. Sam is on the numbers game right now. All right. So Uncle Marvin is at 22. Whoops. For Uncle Marvin. Okay, so listen. Uncle Marvin has now messed up Unique's plug.
Yes.
And Unique is now trying to find a new plug. And who does he go to find a new plug? Because there's no other person in town? Snaps and Pops. They told him to go back to the crypt he came from because we don't know what you want, right? I think it's kind of bold for him to go back there. And one of the
At least we got to see this scene. We didn't even get to see the last scene.
That's true. You know, one of the who said this to Unique? Some of the feedback that Unique got when he came back to life. Was it Phil Russo? Was it Phil who said this? I'm sorry if I'm blacking out for a little bit, but Unique, for however good he is or forever whatever that he does, his vision is limited. And I was like, they're so right. Like he doesn't even think outside the box. Meanwhile, Rock did go to Snaps and Pops, but they were very clear saying, hey, we have no business with you. We're only dealing with Kanan. And she didn't approach them in terms of getting another connect in the game. She found someone else, Hafiz, and they made their own field and their own distribution with Hafiz. Not even going to the regular place. She went to someone new because everyone else was pretty much like kind of yanking her bra strap a little bit because they were kind of playing with her. And she went and found someone else and she had different ideas, even though Unique came in and killed her corners, took her connect from her. She was already working on another connect and she was able to negotiate a better deal than what she was going to get with Huang because she was thinking outside of the box. Whereas Unique, he is on like this revenge train and he's not thinking about all of the other things that could be happening to him.
Yeah, 'cause he too worried about being angry at Rock rather than to just get back in the game.
And ain't it funny that it's so funny you say that, right? Because he is acting that way and Stefano keeps accusing Rock of having of that being the issue, that whatever issue she has with Unique, that's clouding her judgment. But it's not at all. Like Unique is on her radar right now. She didn't even know he was alive. She did not even know that he was alive. And now, obviously, she has to contend with the things that he's doing. But she's not letting him cloud her judgment about whatever intimate relationship that they had or whatever he's doing to her. Even though he like messed up her business, she's still not even trying to fire back at him. She's just like, forget about that. We still have a business to run and we still
Like I
owe
said,
people money.
but she still keep her eye on him for sure.
Well, for sure. But you see how you said that he is like, he's just on this war path about Rock because he thinks in his head that she tried to kill him, even though she knows he's messing her stuff up. She has one eye on him, but she's not letting it cloud her judgment in terms of working or getting other things done. And what Stefano is accusing her of doing is what Unique is actually doing. Nope.
No, for sure.
All right. So, anything else we had to say about Unique that I missed?
Nah, I just think they're unique. The writing is kind of on the wall. I think he's gonna kill Pernessa
Why do you think he's going to kill Pernessa?
because, like, I feel like she's gonna say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, and then he's gonna snap, and his anger for Rock is gonna cause him to, because he's gonna kill everybody but Rock. At this point, you was in her crib, you had the open shot. No one would have known it was you that came in there and did that.
Right, because security was on break.
Right. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, I don't know.
The only way
I
I
just
could
feel like that. I just feel like that can happen. That is a possibility. I hope that's not the case, but it's just seems like he gets angry and he just kind of snapping, and next thing you know, he kills her, and then it's like, damn, because she's gonna eventually have to go out the crib to go help her mom. He's not gonna take it to that.
I was thinking, I said, if I had to think about a reason of why he would kill her, I think it's probably because she's gonna say what Ronnie was doing, why she believes that Rock is not involved in a plot against him. And I see that she kind of backed down before, but maybe to your point, because she wants to go see her mother, maybe she's gonna realize that he's crazy and she can't deal with this anymore. And listen, Rock didn't try to kill you. You trying to lock me in the tower like I'm fucking Rapunzel. So I gotta get out of here. And then he's probably just gonna kill her. And I hate that for her because I actually like that actress a lot. There was something else that I thought about Unique. Oh, so Unique went to see Snaps and Pop. Um, he does know that Juan is dead. He did speak to Phil Russo, and Phil said, "Rain or shine, you better have my money." Um, there was something, and we know that he killed OC. And what else does Unique have brewing? I'm trying to think. Uh,
I don't know, but I'm waiting. They are dragging the storyline of Kanan and Unique meeting. I don't know why.
oh,
Am I tripping? It's just like
nah.
it's super obvious now at this point. Like they have not met, or at least not spoken to each other in person.
Yeah, because they know who each other. They know who each other are or is. They know who each other is.
Right. But he keep mentioning like he mentions Kanan every episode at this point in some type of capacity.
Why do you think they're dragging?
I mean, it's I guess so it could be like a big lead up, or maybe okay. I thought about this last night while I was like when I was like getting ready for bed. And I'm like, damn, what if this whole thing was Snap and Pop? Because eventually Kanan is gonna come to them and say, yo, what y'all heard? Did y'all had a meeting with the police? And either Snap and Pop are gonna say, no, we didn't hear anything, or they're gonna say it's this person, or the streets is talking about this person, which I think they're gonna say it's Rock. So if that becomes the case, what if then Kanan is like, okay, well now I'm about to go work with Unique to now destroy her.
Just so that I make sure I'm following you correctly. You think that Snaps and Pops are going to implicate Rock in all of this?
I can't see Snap and Pop saying, I don't know, or we don't know anything, or they're gonna point him in the right direction. And I know they're not gonna point him in the direction of Unique because obviously they had that, already. So who's the best person to put him against? The person who he already hates, his mother, especially when he already thinks it's his mother. He may not say that, but they may ask him, he may say it, or they may say, oh, the streets are saying it might be Rock.
So let me ask you this then. Considering what we know now, what happened at the end of the episode, where they take Crystal off the bus, you think
We know what's how that she getting tortured.
she's gonna die?
Right, for sure.
She's dying for sure. Um, sorry guys, she's gonna
Yeah,
die.
that's just
But
sorry.
them taking her off the bus and her last conversation with Kanan, pretty much advocating for his mother. She's like, I know I don't know her, but I don't think that she did it. I saw how she was at the repass. Um, I I know, and then even Juke saying, but she loved Famous, and I'm not even sure if Famous, if not Famous, if Kanan believes that what Juke was saying about Rock.
No, how can he? Because when he came to her about Famous being in jail in season 2, uh, Rock looked him in his face and said, "That's not my problem." So how does she love Famous?
But I mean, maybe we don't know why, but Juke isn't just saying this for no reason. But before I lose my train of thought, the reason why I brought up Crystal is, do you think that after the conversation that Kanan had with Crystal, do you think he's still going to say, "Oh, my mother is doing all of this stuff. My mother got rid of D-Wiz. She got rid of Famous. She got rid of Crystal. All of these people that I believe to be close to me and that I care about. My mother is getting rid of all of them for
Yes
the
and no.
reason."
Yes and no. Let me say this, right? If Kanan finds out that Crystal was at the crib beforehand, their relationship is dead.
That Crystal was with Rock.
Just at Rock's crib before she disappeared. Their relationship is dead. It's already damn near dead. But if he finds out that she was there and then disappeared, now this is another person that he is now suspecting. You know, a lot of people were suspecting that she has something to do with Davina. Obviously, that was never proven. Or
We never even saw anything of Davina after season 1.
exactly.
So
So I just feel like Kanan is gonna start putting all this together, and everybody like, "Yo, Kanan is so stupid." It's just like, is he really off though? Because all of these are things that Rock is capable of.
I think Pop said it best. She was like, "I can't front. This does kind of sound like something you would do, right?" And when we lay it all out, and like, yeah, I guess sometimes I have to take a step back and be like, okay, I know I'm the viewer and I see things that are happening that everyone else doesn't see, right?
Right.
But also, Kanan is around too. Like he's not out the loop. His mother has kept him pretty much in the loop with everything that has been happening this season. He knows now that Juan is dead. He knows about the supply issue. He knows that Juan was taxing them an additional 20%. He knows that Unique is alive. She didn't tell him about the type of relationship that she had with Unique. And guys, I apologize. My allergies are killing me. So if I sound extra congested, please just bear with me. But
Well, he knows. He knows now.
he knows all of these things, and he knows what his mom has essentially been up to because one, he was also there with the Ronnie and the Howard thing, so he knows that his mother didn't kill Unique, right? He knows that his mother had nothing to do with that. He was standing right there. Pretty much everything that has happened in the operation up until this point, he's been there and he's been privy to everything, and she's pretty much told him. Now I know that Rock has withheld information before. And that is a big theme in Power. Whereas because everyone doesn't tell everybody every single detail, it kind of leaves some things open to interpretation. But with Kanan, the reason why some people or someone like me would say, hey, he's kind of adding 2 plus 2 and getting 15 right now is because he's around.
Not even that he's around. It makes sense from a standpoint. If you're Kanan and you see all of this going on, and you see your mom handing money to the police, and the streets is saying that the police is the one that killed Famous, and we know that that's actually what happened at this point. It's just it's the wrong person. Now all it's gonna take is for that little conversation with Snap and Pop to say, we don't know, and we don't know if this is true, but we keep hearing that it's Rock. If he hears those words from them, he would never suspect that it's them. It's war at that point with him and his mother. And mind you, Crystal is now missing, so she never got to where she was supposed to go. And he finds out that she was there too. I'm sorry, all of this looks bad on Rock.
So okay, let's go back a little bit because let's talk about Kanan, and we have been talking about him thus far, but let's go back up to his conversation with Snaps and Pop. So when he approaches them, they tell him flat out, "We have a vested interest in you," and he should know this up until this point. He should know this without a shadow of a doubt. I don't know I guess here's what I'll ask you. I don't know if he's really going to just take their word for it, considering everything that his mother has warned him about them. They're not ones to play with. You can't owe them money. They're not necessarily loyal to you because, I mean, even though they have a vested interest in him, just because you think I do bad things on account of you, they're going to do 10 times worse. I'm just trying to protect you. They're just trying to protect their interests. So, when do you think that there is going to be a switch that goes off in Kanan's head to be like, okay, somebody is playing me here and it cannot just be Raquel Thomas?
Yes, but I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna see that until Jukebox may be the one to talk him into like thinking more. But again, if he goes to Jukebox, because now Jukebox is on some turning into a borderline psycho at this point now. If he goes there and say, "Yo, I talked to Snap and Pop," and they also saying in the streets saying it was Rock. I don't know what happened.
Just to be clear, people, if you if you they did not tell him that. They didn't say anything about Rocket. We're only speculating that if they do, what would Kanan's reaction be?
Right, but that has to happen because we know for sure Kanan is gonna come and ask, "What do you know?" There's no way they tell him nothing. We don't know nothing. We ain't hear nothing. Because that's when he's gonna start getting suspicious. So if I'm snapping Pop, me personally, I'm just saying, if I'm snapping Pop, I'm pointing him in the person's direction that he already hates.
All right. So let's see. Snaps and Pop, they are they have a lot of mud on their hands right now because they have orchestrated the kidnapping of Crystal. And I don't Rock is going to have to save the day in some way, shape, or form. Now, we know that she has an incredible amount of plot armor, right? But she, everything has been going wrong for her all season. like, everything. Because the next thing that I'm guessing, I'm like, okay, Hafiz is going to die because that's the one good thing that she has going, and everything else has been going bad. So, if Crystal is successfully kidnapped, tortured, and eventually killed, Rock has to come in and save the day. Come somewhere, right? Like we have 2 more episodes left in this season. And you're meaning to tell me that we're just gonna solidify her as the bad guy in Kanan's mind? And that's it?
No, I don't think. But that's the thing is the difference is Kanan then gonna take that information and then take Rock out or plot to take Rock out. So that's what I'm saying. That would be the time I feel where it would make the most sense for Kanan to then meet up with Unique and plot against Rock.
All right. We do see that.
Why else would they meet?
Well, the reason why they're meeting is because of Snaps and Pops. Because Unique has now gone to Snaps and Pops to be for them to be his distributor or his plug, right? And he knows about the relationship that Snaps and Pops have with Kanan. So because they have a vested interest in Kanan and they are starting a business venture with Unique, they have to come together at some point. I do wonder why they
Snap and Pop don't sell drugs though. So how is they going to be the plug? Who is their plug?
that's something that we will just have to figure out because that's why he went to them.
No, they're investors. They're investors. They have the bread clearly. Snap and Pop. Listen, I know I give Snap and Pop they shit or whatever. Clearly, they just proved that they one of the most powerful individuals in the Power universe.
Yeah,
for sure. At this point, like damn, there are some like Simon Stern shit.
So I have a question for you then. Because we brought this up earlier, right? About why has this been drawn out? And
the Kanan and Unique.
The Kanan and Unique thing.
Right. 4 whole seasons. No conversation.
No conversation. Do you think it's being drawn out because they are going to introduce Unique, who we already know is Unique, as someone else? You know that theory that people.
No, I'm definitely.
Let me get it out. Hold on, let me get it out. Do you think? Do you think that Unique is Breeze?
No, no. At this point, it's impossible for them to now do that because they had the window to do that when Unique was trying to figure things out. But now that Unique has got back in, and he's now driving around his white Benz. He's now flashier than he was before, even more flashy now. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone knows in the streets that Unique is back alive now. It has been it. The streets know. There's no possible way he could say, "Yo, yeah, I'm Breeze now." No way.
This is what I've been telling people. I'm like, everyone knows him as Unique. He's not going to change his name to Breeze.
But it's different with the fans though, because if they think that Unique is dead and then he would have still been in the shadows, still wearing the black hoodies, still kind of doing his thing, it was a possibility that they could have turned it into that. No. But there's no way to do that now when Unique has literally came back and announced to the world, I'm back. Unique, I'm back. Tell the streets.
No, because Kanan already knows him as Unique. He's not going to start calling him Breeze now. His mother knows him as Unique. The whole family knows him as Unique. There's no Breeze.
No, right. But just because.
Don't run. No, don't run with that theory, guys. Please.
No. But just because Kanan mentioned the name Breeze around Ghost and Tommy, because that's what Tommy and them could have been known as. But that don't mean that he called whoever Breeze is Breeze.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But if he's referring to somebody like, let's just say, what's Unique's real name? What's Unique's real name? I think it's
Hold on.
Yeah, whatever Unique's real name is. But if
something Magnus, hold on.
Right. But either way, so if Unique is known as that, like to people that grew up with him, right? They all call him by whatever his real name is. But then anybody that knew him from the streets calls him Unique. So when you refer to him, you call him Unique.
Kadeem.
Yeah, or Kadeem. So yeah, if you're referring to him in a sentence to people that only know him for the street version of him, you're going to refer to him as Unique. But when you're talking to somebody that know him from the hood, you're going to say Kadeem. So it could be one of those situations.
Kadeem Unique Mathis is not Breeze, and I'm
not saying that he is. I'm not saying that.
I know what you're saying. You're saying that hey, maybe Tommy and Ghost refer to him as that, and
not Unique though. Not Unique though. I'm saying whoever
Breeze is, right?
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily mean that that's what Kanan always called him. But for this instance, people, ladies and gentlemen,
for this instance, no, I don't. I think that storyline, that possibility is 1,000% dead now. They have made it impossible to even introduce that as an option now, which is good. So now we can kind of shift over to D-Wiz's brother, who has not been introduced.
Oh my God, no, Sam, no, we're not doing that today. We 39 minutes. No.
Listen,
let's move on.
Ronnie's brother was mentioned. Hold on, Ronnie's brother was mentioned in the first episode, and didn't come again until season 3,
sir.
So it can still happen.
I'm going to move on. All right. So we talked about Kanan. We talked about Unique. We talked a little bit about Rock. We didn't talk about Marvin, and we didn't talk about Lou. So we'll save those two for last because I feel like Lou is back on the block now. But let's talk about Juke for a tad bit. I got a DM earlier this week and I meant to not print it out, but to put it in my notes. But because I don't have it right now, about what may possibly happen with Juke and whoever that guy was that answered the door for her. Because at that time, we only had the preview of the episode, and somebody said to me, do we think that Juke is going to have her first sexual encounter with a guy? And I was like, absolutely not. She's going to kill that guy.
Yeah, I thought that was a reach. I'm like, I don't know who this dude is, but there's no way they just do that randomly out of nowhere.
No, I was a little afraid for her when she answered, when she got to the door and he said, come in. I was like, come in? Why the hell would I have to come in? I don't need to come in your house. Right. But I knew she was strapped.
Right. So she came in.
I knew she was strapped. I'm glad that she was able to handle herself and nothing happened to her. I'm trying to think, did anything else happen with her conversation with Rock?
Yeah, was she? I mean, Rock didn't tell her, which is obvious. Because imagine Juke going back to tell Kanan that she now killed the grandmother. Oh my God, you can't win, right?
She done killed everybody. She's responsible for everything. But, I knew she wasn't going to tell Juke that. I don't think that's something that she's just going to have to take to her grave. Um,
With the exception of we know Lou and Marvin know for sure.
oh, yeah. But Marvin is one of those people that's going to be like, I know, but I don't know. He's just going to be like, yeah, it's in there in the drawer, top drawer, but I don't know nothing. I didn't see it. I ain't doing nothing. I don't know nothing about it. But but I like the conversation that they had. But the question that I have for you, do you think after her conversation with Rock, do you think she's more leaning on the side of what Kanan is saying, or does she still believe her aunt couldn't have done something like this?
I think she's 50-50, honestly.
Ugh, okay.
She's trying to get a feel of like where Rock head is, how she's reacting. Because I think they started up the conversation about famous, did he not?
They did.
Right. So I think it was more of she's trying to test the waters to see kind of where Rock head is. And it seemed like it was really going anywhere. It wasn't like Rock was like incriminating herself or anything. So she's probably just on the fence, like, 50-50. But again, if she would have mentioned anything about Joyce, I think that would have been a different story. I think that would have caused a different level of anger.
I think so too. There is something that I've been waiting to talk to you about, and then we'll talk about Marvin and Lou because I do want to touch on them for our last, like, I guess 17 minutes or so. So, remember in the original Power, and this is something that I haven't discussed on the show, and I tried to stay away from it because I know that we'll go down a deep, deep tunnel. But when we meet Kanan, when he is not meet him for the first time, but when we see him in a scene with Ghost for the first time, he mentions going to see his mother, right? Do you believe, because you mentioned something earlier, and this is why I'm bringing this up. Earlier, you said he is going to have to kill Rock, or maybe he's setting up to do so. Do you believe that Rock makes it out of this alive? So when older Kanan says, I'm going to see my mother, was he going to see his mother in physical form, or was he going to visit a grave plot?
I don't know. And one thing I could say is also in one theory I never hear people say is like, what if Kanan went to go see his mother to kill her once he got out of jail? I mean, I don't know. And that may be why he don't have no relatives. Because he went to go kill her.
Right, because also in Power, also what happens after Kanan perishes, the older Kanan is killed. We hear on the news report that he had no living relatives. Now, whether that is true or not, we don't know because pretty much Raising Kanan is starting from scratch. Yes, they have stuck to some forms of canon in terms of some of the family members that we know. Obviously, Juke is still his cousin, but we don't know if he doesn't have any surviving family members as of right now. And
As far as uncles, we definitely would not know that. Like, and the news is only gonna mention kids and immediate family. They're not gonna say, oh, he has cousins or whatever. They talking about only just immediate family.
right, which would be mother, father, children, wife.
That's it. Wife, yeah. That's it. Yeah, no spouse or nothing like that. So that's all they're gonna mention in the news. So that's the only thing that proves. So if Uncle Lou and Marvin could possibly still be alive, it's kind of in the air. I mean, we know that somebody got to die of the brothers.
Why does someone have to die?
I don't think that there's no way they go through the whole Raising Kanan and not one of the three siblings pass. I mean, don't get me wrong. Shit, the Tahanas survived.
They sure
All three of
did.
them survived.
They
But
sure did, but not the mother
mother died, and well, the mother
and the
did.
father.
Yeah, and the father died, but and then Zeke, who they found out was their brother later, but the main siblings, all three survived.
They survived.
So I don't know. I just think is that a reach for them to still be alive in season 5? Because what do you do with them in Origins?
Really, they don't make it to Origins.
Chaotic. Or am I tripping? Does that not make the storyline too chaotic if Marvin and Lou still alive? And Rock? That takes away the focus from progression of Kanan and Jukebox. If Jukebox is even a main in Origins, we know Kanan has to be.
I don't the thing is, we don't know what the time jump is gonna be in Origins. We don't know how young or how old Ghost, Tommy, and Kanan will be. We don't have anything about Origins yet because it's simply just not written yet. It's just not there yet. Um,
They have to show the initial meetup, but after the initial meetup, they can jump a whole 10 years if they want.
Child. All right. So you're saying you don't know. You don't want to make a speculation whether or not Rock survives this or not.
I mean, I don't know. It could also be the same situation with Joyce. What if Rock is sick?
Okay. We're going. See, this is why I didn't want to do this. We're
Right.
going.
I mean, it's a whole like you could go down a whole rabbit hole with that, but
We can. We can.
personally, I think that Rock is not alive because even if she was alive, what could Rock possibly do? She would be in her 70s at this point, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's like what?
Wait, hold on. Let me think about it because Rock right now is about 35, 38. She's about 38, maybe
Okay.
39.
2014 would have been well, obviously we're in 2025 now, but
Right.
yes, the new series would be a time.
But that started in 2014, and that's only what? No, she would have only been in her 60s.
Yes, but now it's 2025 though.
No, but now, oh, you're saying if she's still alive right now to this point? No. I was talking about when they get back
Yeah,
then, 10 years
Kanan would
ago,
have
11
killed
years.
her. If Kanan would have killed her, they would have had to show that scene where he did it. So I don't even think that's a possibility to even go back and do that. So it would be more of a situation where what would Rock do?
Hold on.
And right now, if she was older, like we wouldn't know if that was her, and she would be useless. So she has to be dead.
Yikes. Okay. All right. So let's talk about Rilla and Lou.
Oh my god!
So Lou is now committed to Imani in a roundabout way, and
Wait,
he's very
that's his
slow.
girlfriend?
That's his girlfriend.
Yeah. Lou was pulling up his pants entirely too slow for me. I'm like, Lou, you doing too much right now. I can see.
His whole ass crack right
Right.
now.
Like, all right, bro. Like, come on now.
But so they're in a relationship, and Rilla is clearly not the gangster that we thought he was because he has emotions upon emotions, and he was feeling really bad about what happened at Lowell's house and those poor innocent people who got killed. And he goes and he confesses everything to Luke. Why? It was just weighing on his conscience, right? So he tells Lou that, hey, I knew about the hit. I may have mentioned that he has money lingering in the house, and I may have put them up to it, but I didn't go in there with them. I I didn't shoot nobody. So Lou is now trying to save B Rilla's butt and goes to Kenyatta, and Kenyatta is pretty much like, get your goofy ass out of here. You're not even talking like this anymore.
He caught him washed up.
It's like, boy, you what you do now? You spin records? Go spin the fucking records and get out of my face.
He spent the block.
But he's what?
When Lou get that look, if I just be like, damn, if only they knew what they just did.
The worst thing you could ever do is mess with a Thomas's ego because he said, oh, you're not scared of me anymore? Well, let me give you a reason to be scared. So your man Lou is back in full form. He is back on the Thomas Brigade and he killed everything. So now Lou is back on the same timing as Marvin. And now we have trouble because once Lou gets back to the murder game and Marvin is already like to everybody, and you know Rock, she don't.
Well, I hope if Rock go back to that too, bruh, it's over.
Over. But I feel like that's what they're pushing them to do. From earlier in the season when I spoke to Sasha Penn, I said, they're gonna push Lou back in because she left him alone, right? And we know that Marvin is going to mess up, whereas Marvin has to take a backseat, and then Lou has to step up and then come and help because Marvin has a lot of stuff going on right now. Marvin is working with Early. Early done killed one of Stefano's people
because of him.
because of him, right?
Because Marvin could have handled it, but he didn't.
But he didn't. And then Marvin also has the issue of killing everybody. Like he killed, damn, Marvin killed a lot of people. So he killed one. I don't know if they're gonna have a big issue with that, but he also killed the owners for the restaurant, right? What was his name? Terry. He killed Terry. He backed down from Stefano, and Stefano is about to trick them because now Stefano is going to tell Rock that that Marvin came to him and wanted to take her place. So now he's trying to create a wedge between the siblings.
But this could have all been avoided if Marvin would have just been honest. And he
What
never
said
did.
earlier.
Because he said, "Oh, I'm grown. Oh, I'm grown. I don't got to listen to you. You don't tell me what to do." But you could have easily just said to her, "Yo, Stefano's plotting against you. This is why I came up with that plan to take him out."
Right.
And it would have been easy.
Easy peasy. But what did we just say about what happens when you touch the Thomas ego? You do and make decisions that can go against the whole family. So now Marvin is in a world of trouble right now.
You got something blocking your camera, I think.
I do.
I don't know what it is. Like,
is it better now?
yeah, it was something like a balloon or something.
It fell earlier. Thank you for telling me because other people would have just had me sitting here like this.
No, because you kept like your body kept fading out. I'm like, I don't know what that is.
What is happening? But I'm back. I'm back. But okay, so back to Marvin. So I don't think Marvin makes it out of this season alive. However, I don't know how intact his relationship is going to be with his sister by the end of this season. What do you think?
Because I think they're going to always come together. Like I don't think that they're going to get to the point where they're going to beef that hard. But they're gonna definitely have some disagreements this season for sure.
All right, so then
know what to expect.
No funeral for Joyce?
No funeral for Joyce, I guess.
We're just gonna clean her house out and
he had a funeral.
OC had a funeral?
Technically, he had a little wake after, after.
Right. Dad, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he had a wake, but damn, Joyce couldn't get awake.
Maybe it's because she had cancer. They're just gonna do like a little memorial. I mean, it'll be a whole bunch of funerals this season because we did Famous's repass. We had the little thing for OC. So we have to do something for Joyce.
Right. And I just kind of wanted to see Kanan's reaction to finding out his grandmother passed. I think they definitely they dropped the ball with that one because that would have been another reason that Kanan starts to slowly get more and more where he turns his feelings off because it's like nonstop loss, nonstop heartache, because he loved his grandmother. Out of everybody in the family, I think he loved her the most.
Yeah, I wish we got to see a little bit more of that. So that brings me to how we're going to end this episode. What were 3 things that you didn't like about the episode? I think you just said one.
Yeah, it was 9. Us not getting the reaction to that. And then I kind of wish that we would have got the flashback scene of what the cops did to Famous. And then even the call that was made, like, yo, or they do a whole flashback of like Kanan sitting in there, he's talking to the police or whatever. They then go to Snap and Pop. They make the hit and then they show us the torture thing. That would have been like, cool, because the episode was kind of fast.
Yeah, it was.
So they could have easily put that in there as a little quick, fast flashback in. I think I would have liked to see that because that would have been a better unveil than how it was unveiled. Because it was just like they went to the roof and then she just admitted it out of nowhere, and I had to rewind it back to make sure. So I'm like, wait, what did she just say?
Well, she was talking to the cops, right?
Right. But it would have just been better if it was like we saw the flashback to start the episode, and then it was like boom. Then they could have shifted right into Marvin, and it would have been like, damn, they going crazy with this episode right now. That I didn't like that, but whatever. I was kind of hoping that Jukebox pulled the trigger, but I realized that they couldn't do that because they already was gonna have OC's funeral. So no way the mom is gonna bury two of her kids. You know what I mean? That would have been kind of wild. But I was like, damn, yeah, Juke, yeah, pull a trigger because I want her to join that serial killer list so bad. You need at least 3 kills.
Okay. So I agree with you. Wait, did you have another one? Did you say 3? Because you saw
Yeah, and I don't know. I just don't like this whole beef between Rock and Unique thing. I get it, but it's more like, bro, I don't know.
I hope. Um, so I didn't like. So one of the things that I didn't like, and we brought this up already, and I know I keep saying that, but I actually don't like that we're dragging out the Unique and Kanan meetup. It's kind of annoying me at this point because he done been in Kanan's house, his old apartment, and it's someone that the family clearly knows. So I don't even understand why they haven't crossed paths already.
Technically, they have at the end of season 2. We just weren't privy to the scene where Howard and
No, I'm talking about the season alive. No, no, no. Once
no,
this scene came
I'm
back,
just saying in general. We didn't even get that opportunity. It would have just been cool to just have them say anything to each other, but they faded out that scene, and then we never got that. So it was like, okay, like why we couldn't at least get a conversation or to start the season with that conversation, and then you do it like a skip. I don't know.
and the reveal that Snaps and Pops were behind it was a little anticlimactic for me. Maybe it's because I already felt that they were the ones who did it, but I thought that we were gonna go in depth of, why they chose to do this or how it came to be that they saw that Famous was giving information. I thought that we were going to get a little bit more information about it, but I guess I'll leave it at that. Now, any predictions for end of the season? And then we'll get out of here.
I don't even know how this season ends at this point. It's like I know it's gonna be a lot more bodies. If they drop that many bodies in episode 8, it tend about to be a murder scene. I just don't know with who. It could be a situation where the Italians go against each other. It could be a thing where Unique, the whole New Jersey basically, comes at Rock. It could be like a whole war between the two. I don't really know. Um, I just know that they didn't bring Unique back to kill him off. So I feel he's a
Safe, yeah.
clear. Lulu, I think is gonna have a very, I mean, it could kill him off this season. I doubt it, but I feel like
No,
Lulu is
Lou is
gonna have
gonna
a
be good.
big. I feel like he's gonna have a big ending though to the season. Just like I feel like he had a really good ending to season 2.
And 3.
Well, 3 was more like acting wise, but like 2 was like he took out like all of the Italians himself in the studio. And he killed Crown like that was like he went crazy. He ate that season.
That
But 3 was more like, he was struggling. It was kind of like giving Jannard and Forrest season 2, but whatever. Um, yeah, it was just like, damn, I feel bad now. But this season I feel like it's gonna be a big blow up. I really hope that snap and pop situation happened where they tell him the streets is pointing towards your mother. I think that would amplify Cannon to another level, and he may even contemplate killing her and
I
maybe
hate
pull
that.
out at the last minute.
I hate that so much. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Alrighty,
Well,
guys.
he may not do it, but he may pull. He may go try, and then maybe somebody come out, or like you know what I mean. It just don't end up happening. But man, I'm with it. I'm ready. Look, thank God there's no more breaks.
I know, right? Alrighty, people, same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see you all next week. Thank you, Sam. You guys can follow Sam at Power is Fire on IG. And wait, are you on YouTube with at Power is Fire too? Is that
Yeah,
your
everything is power.
everything is Power is Fire? So make sure you go follow my boy. And
TikTok is Power Spy Media, but if you type in Power Spy, I should pop
it'll pop up. Yeah. So thank you to Sam and thank you to all of you. And we will see you next week.